Morning. I think I have taught this old dog new tricks because we are currently live streaming on YouTube and on Facebook. So this just allows me to come live to more people at the same time. And yeah, now if I get one more device, we could go live on Instagram at the same time. Probably not going to happen. I am still a little under the weather. Have to clear my throat and cough a bit, so hopefully this goes okay. Um, Luckily, when I've done some filming lately, I was able to have a window of time where I didn't cough my face off. I'm not drinking coffee this morning because um, caffeine or milk just doesn't do well with when you're sick. Good morning, Wendy. Welcome to Friday Morning Live. Um, I have been doing this on YouTube for a few weeks, kind of trialing it, getting my feet underneath me and figuring this out. Good morning, Cynthia on YouTube. And I realized that I could just broadcast out to more people if I went live in different arenas. So, yeah, the point of this is I was explaining it to somebody as kind of a office hour, but I'm not a professor, obviously. But if you have a question about the shop, about a pattern you're working on, not can't always answer every question about a pattern without kind of feeling your work and seeing your work in person. But not only can I offer advice, but also other people who are joining our lives might have input as well. Good morning, Sherry. And just, yeah, general office hours. I get so many emails, especially going into our busy season, which today is September 1st, and that kicks off busy season and my brother's birthday. Hello out there. He's not going to be joining us. Um, anyway, so kind of a one stop every single Friday at 9:15. You can find me here. If I can't make it, hopefully I can find somebody in my place and answer questions and and then chat about what I'm sipping on, what I'm knitting on, and not have it be just like our podcast, where our podcasts are one way, right? We give information out and we hope that you enjoy it, but we can't interact. And so the Friday morning live allows me to interact as well. If you were interested in knowing more about a yarn, you can ask it immediately and I can go run and get it. If you're interested in pattern behind me, I can give that information then. So, just another way to get in touch with you guys, but then also you guys can ask questions of us. I will have special guest stars here and there, and around the time I close down, which is 9:45, it's just a half an hour chat session. Um, Hilda arrives at work, so we will have surprise Hilda pop-ins here and there. Um, anyway, I hope your morning is good. I'm sipping on water, not my usual, but sometimes you just need to hydrate. I am going to try as we sit and chat to knit on this little sock. It's just a little wee sock so far. Um, but I also know um, my inability to follow any patterning when talking. So this might be put down for something super, super easy. I'm so sorry. I definitely still sound not quite healthy, um, but it is not COVID. That is good because I know a lot of that is still going around right now. We had some missed lessons yesterday because because of COVID. Um, so I was not able to do the Friday morning lives a wee sock. Yes, or you. So I will be reading comments on both of them because if I'm laughing at something going on Facebook, YouTube, you don't know what I'm talking about. So I will be reading comments out loud, which might feel kind of weird sometimes. Um, Sherry says, laugh out loud, a wee sock, perfect for me watching Outlander right now. I really need to watch Outlander. I feel like it needs to be an event, and I just I never dive in. Um, but anyway, so I did try to do a YouTube live 2 weeks ago, and I was moments away from getting in my car and or not my car, getting in a car and going on a cruise ship. And I couldn't get the technology to work. And I just decided to give up and get on the cruise ship. So, and then the following week, we were actually disembarking around 9:15. So I knew there was no way I could juggle the immense amount of um, bags that I had along with going live. That just was not going to happen. And I think actually at 9:15, um, we were, I think we were in the car, and my best friend. The best way to explain her driving is if you have been in a taxi in Thailand, then you will understand her driving. So, um, YouTube Live would not have been a good decision at that moment. It would have been me screaming a lot and not knitting. Anyway, have you guys been working on anything fun? Thank you. Letitia says, my hair looks so cute today. Sometimes my curling wand does what I want it to, other times it does not. And unfortunately, I don't seem to be the boss of the outcome of that. I wish I was. I actually need a haircut because my undercut is growing out so much. Things you didn't need to know today. So far, so good on this sock. Now, the pattern across the instep is more difficult on rows 2 and 4, and I'm coming into either 2 or 4. So let's see how it goes. The sock that I am knitting on is it's actually part of our year of sock madness. And I can never remember any of the names of anything, including probably the ones that I have written. This one's called Toe Up Forethought Heel Sock Template. And this is our September sock. And it is, as I've mentioned, September 1st. It's a free pattern that you can find on Ravelry. Again, Toe Up Forethought Heel Sock. It is a really good one. When I put it away, it didn't put it away to the right page. I'd like to blame my forgetfulness on my head cold, but it's just 1000% me. All right. And then I was going to look at fix that. Multitasking. Back to drinking. So, is anybody working on anything this morning? You don't have to be working on knitting. Working on cleaning the house, taking care of children. I'm very thankful that mine are back in school. Yeah, I hosed this up. This is not going well at all. Well, maybe it is. No, it's not. Sherry is knitting the hitchhiker shawl. I think I'm going to be ripping out my sock. Here, I will. I knew last night when I was knitting this, I had a headache. It was social knitting. I knew not to do it, but I did it anyway. Anyway, let's just rip this out together. Part of knitting is ripping it out. Casting on a new sock for fall. I have all of the fall vibes right now. So much frogging. Um, you know, I do like to say my favorite saying is that knitting is not linear, meaning it doesn't start and finish. Because uh, well, I mean, it does start and finish eventually, right? But you don't just start something and then magically like next thing it's finished. No, there's a lot of frogging, ripping things out, trying things again. Um, it's part of knitting, and I don't think it ever stops because, well, I haven't found the stop yet, and I've been knitting for 30 years. So Sherry says, I'm knitting the hitchhiker shawl. I think I mentioned that. Wendy says she's casting on a new sock for fall. I'm feeling the fall vibes today. Letitia says, lots of frogging. Thanks for the permission to. We are having a frog it or finish it challenge that ends at the end of this month. And it is definitely giving people permission to rip their work out. And somebody did question me. They're like, why frog it? Like why not just leave them around half knit? And I feel like sometimes it's a creativity block. If you have all of these project bags kind of looming wherever you keep project bags, um, and you have like six different things that are on the needles, they're calling your name, you feel guilty every time you knit on something else that makes you happy. Um, Ripping it out for some reason, putting it back into yarn form just kind of frees up that creativity and guilt. So then it's like, well, I shouldn't be working on that shawl because it's no longer a shawl, it's a ball of yarn. And then when it's back into a ball of yarn, then it's possible creativity for later. I know this sounds insane. Let's take it a step further. When it's back in ball form, because originally you bought that yarn for something else and it started being knit into something else, it becomes free yarn. So not only have you unleashed and given yourself permission to say goodbye to that object, but when you go back to your stash later and knit with it, in my mind, it's free yarn. You're welcome. This is The Math by Jen. Cindy says she's working on anthology throw. It will never end. Um, yeah. Uh, that it's gorgeous though. You'll have a lap warmer while it grows. I love it, Cindy. Are you in our YouTube and our Facebook? That gets gold stars. Gold stars. I definitely should have been Facebooking live because I have more followers there, but I do want people to know about our YouTube. By hosting this on YouTube, I can allow it to stay on YouTube so people can reference it later and listen to my ramblings. Um, and I want people to know that we have a podcast. And not just our lovely, lovely followers, but the rest of the universe. So, anyway, we're going to be launching from both. And then if I can figure out Instagram Live at exactly the same time, well, then we're going to be triple dipping. Like I said, I need to get another device going. I am picking up my stitches after ripping that sucker out. I will pay more attention maybe, possibly next time. But it's much better to rip something out and pick it back up than to continue knitting something that you know you're going to hate because you made a little whoopsie. Now, it's okay to ignore whoopsies, but my whoopsie was a big whoopsie. So you just have to, I say if it's going to stop you from wearing it, rip it out. All right, last stitch. Let's try that. All right, I had crocheted. Oh, Sherry says I had crocheted almost an entire cardigan, and it was the last portion of the neck ribbing, and it just did not turn out how I wanted. So I put in. I have to click see more. So I put in time. I put it in timeout, but finally frogged the whole thing. That's awesome. I picked a new pattern and loved it so much more. It's absolutely freeing to start over. It is. And giving ourselves that permission, because sometimes that feels like failure. It is so not. It's just that yarn and that pattern didn't work out. It's not failure whatsoever, but sometimes it feels like failure. And um, in the end, you get a product that you are happy with and proud of. And yeah, it took a little while to get there, but you got there. So many metaphors for life, right? Ooh, I grew up with a dad that everything was a wrestling metaphor. Everything in life was a wrestling metaphor. And I do the same darn thing to my children now with knitting and yarn. It's like you can just rip it out and start over again. That's where we are lucky. It's probably what I am most frustrated with when I try to sew is I make stupid cuts because I don't think things through. And once you cut that fabric, the fate is sealed. Pretty sure that's how quilting came to be. Somebody messed something up, cut it too small, and was like, just sew pieces together. It's fine. I have to count my stitches here. Hold, please. Yay. 4. Yay. Okay. I'm back on track to where I was yesterday. Sometimes knitting that happens when you're really sleepy or not feeling your best is not good knitting, and you should just put your project down and go knit something that is completely brainless, like a garter scarf where you're just like knitting back and forth and can't mess it up because let me tell you, I was just not feeling my greatest. Brain was not firing, and bad things happened. In fact, I'm pretty sure because this pattern has multiple charts and different texture you can do, I think I actually jumped around to 2 different patterns, or 2 different charts. Just like to say, just because you've been doing it a while doesn't mean you're good at it. We all make mistakes. It is true. It's just everything behind you here. This is our sample area. I was thinking the other day how we podcast from back here because it's so easy. There's a table. We can just throw everything we want to talk about on the table. But the background might be confusing for somebody who just joins us or doesn't know that we're a yarn shop because it's just a whole bunch of sometimes folded up, a lot of times not folded up, samples of hats and sweaters and cowls and shawls, you name it, and that doesn't really make sense because like would you go to a retail shop if it looked like that? No. But this is our sample area. I like to call it the inspiration station, where people can check out our samples, see what might inspire them. Maybe a color pairing inspires them, or maybe seeing a finished shawl that they've always wanted to knit will inspire them, being able to try it on and see if it's something that they want to knit for themselves. So that's the purpose of back here. But it does seem kind of strange when I think of it as an outsider looking in. Maybe we should podcast and do these lives from someplace else in the yarn shop. Maybe. All right. Already I am not paying attention to what I should be doing. It's really not hard. I literally have to knit two, purl one. Yeah, it's one of those days. I am going to be getting coffee right after Hilda arrives at work because I think that that's part of the problem. So, any knitting questions? A little nitty questions? Jen questions? I mean, I can just yak at you about my scrambled eggs brain. And about knitting cruises. Oh, actually, yeah, I do have things to yak about. So, if you ever have the chance to go on a knitting cruise with Great Yarns, first of all, just go to greatyarns.com and check out. I think they might have information up there about their next cruise, which is to Hawaii next year in 2024. Go. If you have the opportunity, absolutely go. I don't think I've ever been so spoiled rotten in my life. I mean, I don't want to set the bar too high, right? um, I liked his voice. My slightly sick, nasally, awesome voice. Great Yarns can put on a cruise. They've done it for, I don't know how long they've been doing it, but they have a group of people that have been doing it forever. Letitia asks, did you get seasick at all? Absolutely not. In fact, my number one complaint about this sailing was that it was too smooth. I know that sounds weird, but stick with me. I absolutely love getting rocked to sleep on a cruise ship. I love just that, like especially when we're out at sea and it's a little bit rolly. You're walking down the corridors and wondering, am I drunk or is the boat rocking? That I love. And so there was not enough of that, especially coming back. Like it was way too smooth, and I did not get the proper rocking to sleep, and I did not sleep as well. So I always bring Dramamine and little patches just in case I or a friend gets seasick or not, not feeling very well because of the motion, but there was not enough motion. We also had the most stunning weather. So went to Alaska twice this year on two different cruises, one with my family, one a knitting cruise. Very different experiences, let me tell you. Just with my family, it was more chill. I would say actually with my family, we napped a lot. I lived what I call the polar bear life, where it's like dip into the pool, lay in the sun, dip in the pool, lay in the sun. I love that life. So the knitting cruise was a lot more busy just because we had classes and not meet and greets, but like little mini classes, and I wanted to be knitting the whole time. So I just felt like it was busier that way. And just getting to hang out with friends. And then I did bring home an illness, but luckily the illness did not hit me until like literally I got home. I when I got home, I was feeling sleepy, and I knew I had to be sleepy because I had slept a whole really well. Um, so I took a nap when we got home, and then it was just obvious I had this head cold and body aches and just everything that's on the list of COVID symptoms. I had all of them, but I went to urgent care. I tested at home. I've tested 6 times, and I do not have COVID. I just have a gnarly bug. You're on a cruise ship with almost 2,000 passengers and who knows how many employees. Um, I did not lick any elevator buttons, even though that's kind of my joke of I need to stop licking elevator buttons. I did not lick any. But you're just with so many other people, right? Like there's just people everywhere. You go on excursions, there's people everywhere. Um, you're bound to get something. So I did not get COVID, but I got some other lovely little souvenir. Um, Sherry says, perfect smelly cat singing voice. Yes, I I could I could belt out some smelly cat right now. Um, I love Friends. Um, anyway, so yeah, if you ever have a chance, go on a knitting cruise with Great Yarns. Their next one is Hawaii. I think it's September of 2024. Um, and then there's other ones too. They on the cruise ship, the travel agent mentioned an Antarctica cruise with Barry, who was a teacher on our cruise, and Casapinka. I mean, who doesn't want to go to Antarctica? I totally want to go to Antarctica. Um, and then there's so many other cruises and travel out there. I've been looking into, my two favorite things seriously are travel and yarns. So I've been looking into other ways to meld those things together. And there's also some just amazing tours that you can do in Scotland and Ireland, and just a way to, if you also dig travel, history, and yarn, there's a lot of ways to smoosh those things together. So um, I definitely, if I come across things or hope to plan things, um, will be sharing that with everyone. I did want to, before we close out, mention that I put on Instagram this morning and Facebook the Northbound Knitting, Lisa Much. She posted a pattern this morning that she's offering for free, and it is beautiful. It's a really big 5 color, well, not really big, but it's fairly large. Um, 5 color DK weight shawl. And I know I am famous for grabbing one skein of DK here, one skein of fingering weight here. That's what I do when I travel is I pick up a skein of whatever. Um, it would be a really cool way, like let's say you did a yarn crawl and at every shop you picked up a skein of DK. Putting all of those together into this shawl would be so cool. And the colors don't have to be matchy. Like you could do like a fade, but you also could just do colors that light your soul on fire. So go ahead and go. I'm giving you permission to go download that free pattern by Lisa Much. It is on my Facebook, Instagram, and I cannot remember the name of it. Um, that would be intelligent to have up here. But go check it out. Free today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Make sure you download it. Sometimes people will just add it to their library, but you actually have to make sure you like add it, download it to your library, and not just like favorite it because it will eventually um, be charged for pattern. So you can get it today for free. I am really wanting to do an autumn one, like just all autumn colors. That is calling my name. So I think I might have to work on that. Also, remember that you can hold fingering weight double and it will gauge at DK. So the nice thing about that is if you do have a large stash of fingering weight or have some colors that you're like, you really, really want to use these together, go ahead, double it, and follow the pattern as written, and it will work out awesome for you. It's also a shawl, remember that, so everything will block out. If it's a little bit heavier than maybe the yarn that was originally used for the pattern, it'll all block out. I feel like that is a one pattern. A shawl is where you can play a lot fast and loose. Don't do a gauge swatch. Just have fun. Because it's going to wrap around your body somehow. Some way. All right. Whoop, there we go. Well, very shortly, Hilda will be arriving at work. Her husband sometimes pops in on our YouTube live, but I don't see that he is playing with us today. So, you know, but I really do like my Facebook setup here. So, you can actually see me knitting. Can't really see it on YouTube. There's something else I was going to share with you. If you do go on a cruise and eat a ton of food and then come home and get miserably sick, your your cruise weight kind of goes away. Hey, plus side. Actually, I was fairly good on this cruise. I think because I was blessed to go on 2 cruises this summer. Um, I always like if we went to the buffet, I tried to put a lot of vegetables on my plate to counteract the pastries that would come later. Um, Sherry says, I love spending a little bit of my morning with you. Well, that's what this is about. Good morning, Hilda. I'm going to have the whole class say, good morning, Hilda. Sherry says, I'm one good stomach flu away from my goal weight. I mean, I'm not wrong. No. Anyway, well, I'm going to sign off for the day. Go ahead and knit all the things, rip them out if they don't make you happy, and we will see you later. Bye.